New York never sleeps. New York never sleeps. They say that like it's a good thing. But when you haven't slept in 3 days, when work and reality start to blur, you begin to understand that this city doesn't just stay awake. It watches. Soft creak of floorboards. A heartbeat starts to pulse beneath the rain. My name's Daniel Reed. Copywriter, freelance, forgettable. One Friday morning, half alive on espresso and deadlines, I hired a cleaning lady. Just another profile on a gig app. Angela M. Reliable, detail-oriented, 4 years experience. She looked normal, trustworthy. The kind of face you forget the moment you look away. Beat. Rain stops. Silence. Then the faint click of a phone dialing. I didn't think much of it until she called me. Until she whispered the words that still echo every time I close my eyes. Static rises, cutting to her trembling voice. Angela, faint, terrified. Mr. Reed, there's someone in your house. Long silence, then a deep, resonant boom like a subway passing underfoot. Narrator, quieter. That was the moment everything changed. The moment I realized the only thing more terrifying than someone being inside your home is discovering they've always been there. Music builds, low strings, slow heartbeat rhythm. Title card, on screen or in narration, The Cleaning Lady, a supernatural horror story, based in New York. Fade to black. Transition into Chapter 1, narration. Soft ambient hum, the quiet city morning before chaos. It had been one of those weeks where work bled into sleep and sleep barely existed. Deadlines stacked like bricks on my chest. Every email sounded like an alarm. Every call, another demand. I was 3 projects deep and 20 cups of coffee past sane. My apartment, usually clean enough to host a surgeon, had turned into a landfill of takeout containers, coffee stains, and sticky Post-it notes clinging to the walls like desperate thoughts. So that Friday morning, bleary-eyed and jittery, I did something impulsive. I hired a cleaning lady. There was this app called Fresh Hands, a gig service marketplace for desperate people like me, tired professionals too busy to pick up their own mess. The profiles looked like dating bios, smiling headshots, glowing 5-star reviews, little quotes like, reliable, detail-oriented, always leaves a sparkle. Her name was Angela M. 4 years of experience, kind smile, eyes that looked tired but trustworthy. It felt safe. I booked her for noon. The plan was simple. I'd be at the office. She'd clean. I'd come home to something resembling peace. No contact, no complication, just clean floors and clean conscience. Or so I thought. Low hum of city traffic fading into silence. At 11:17 a.m., while I was halfway through a tense Zoom call with a client, my phone buzzed. Normally I'd ignore it, but something about the name on the screen made me pause. Angela M. Fresh Hands. I picked up. Hello? There was silence, then a whisper, shaky, breathless. Mr. Reed, there's someone in your house. My pen froze mid-air. What? I just came in, she said, voice trembling. The door was unlocked. I thought maybe you came back early, but I heard footsteps, upstairs. Every sound in my office seemed to fade. The chatter of the Zoom call, the ticking of the clock, the world itself. Angela, are you sure? Yes, I'm hiding in the kitchen closet. He's walking around. Heavy steps. A bolt of adrenaline shot through my veins. Get out of there! Right now. Go outside and call the police. I can't. He's between me and the front door. My throat went dry. Is there a back exit? No, just the window. But it's bolted. Her whisper cut off. Then I heard it, faint through the speaker, a slow creak, like a door opening. Angela? Shh. And then, static. The call dropped. Sound of a phone clattering, followed by deep, fast, breathing. I don't remember leaving the office. I just remember the sound of my own heartbeat, pounding in my ears as I sprinted through the lobby. Cue rising tension, car engine, horns, city chaos. Brooklyn traffic at noon is hell. Every red light felt like a punishment. I called 911 3 times on the way, voice breaking each time. "Sir, stay where you are," the dispatcher kept saying. "Officers are en route. Do not enter the property yourself." "Just get there," I snapped. "Please." By the time I turned onto Pine Street, my street, I saw them. 2 police cruisers, lights flashing silently. My heart plummeted. I jumped out before the car even stopped. Footsteps echoing inside a quiet home. "Mr. Reed?" one of the officers called. "Officer Gibson, NYPD. We've already checked inside." No one's there. "What about the woman?" I asked. "The cleaner, Angela?" He shook his head. No sign of her. No forced entry. No disturbance except for the upstairs office. "You mind coming in?" The apartment looked almost normal, except it didn't feel that way. The air felt thick, charged. I moved through the rooms like someone walking through a memory, half familiar, half wrong. Kitchen, spotless. Living room, untouched. Stairway, silent. But when I reached my office, the door was half open, papers scattered, drawers pulled out. "Something missing?" Gibson asked. "My backup drive," I said quietly. "It was right here." He nodded. Could have been the cleaner. Maybe she staged the call. "No," I said too quickly. "She didn't." He eyed me carefully. "Then where is she?" I couldn't answer, because when I looked down at the floor near the rug, I saw something the officers had missed. A small, wet footprint. Bare, delicate, pointing toward the closet. Slow heartbeat sound. Fade to silence. That night, I didn't sleep. Couldn't. Every sound in the apartment felt louder. The refrigerator hum, the faint pipes, the whisper of wind through the cracks. I kept replaying Angela's words in my head. "There's someone in your house." At 3:04 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. "Don't tell the police," the voice whispered. "He's still there." My blood turned cold. "Angela, where are you? He's watching you." The line went dead. I called back immediately and froze when I heard the voicemail greeting. "Leave a message for Daniel Reed." It was my own voice. Music drops. Eerie silence. That's when I realized she wasn't using her phone. She was using mine, low city rumble under faint police radio static. Morning bled through the blinds like a bruise on the wall. I hadn't slept, just sat there in the half-light, staring at my phone, waiting for a message that didn't come. By 7:30 there was a knock. 3 short, 1 long. Detective Marquez. He looked like he hadn't slept either. Creased shirt, half-drained coffee in his hand, eyes sharp but kind of hollow. "Marquez. Mr. Reed. You called about another message?" "Yeah." I handed him the phone. The screen still showed the 2 texts. "Don't tell the police. He's still there. He's watching you." He studied them, jaw tightening. "Marquez. Number's yours." Exactly. Marquez. Could be spoofed. People clone numbers every day. Then how'd she know things only someone inside my apartment could see? He didn't answer right away. Just scanned the room like he was measuring air pressure. Soft pencil scratch on notepad. "Marquez. You mentioned she called from a cleaning app? Fresh hands. Profile name Angela M. Marquez. We ran that already. No registered worker by that name. App says the account was deleted yesterday, same hour you got the call. That landed like a hammer in my stomach. Marquez. Could be identity theft. Could be something else." He glanced at me. "Marquez. You live alone?" "Yeah." Marquez. "Any chance someone had your spare key?" "No." Marquez. Then how'd she get in? Silence. I wanted to tell him about the footprint, but the words jammed in my throat. Saying it out loud would make it real. Background fades. Only the ticking of a wall clock. Marquez. Look, Mr. Reed, you've had a shock. Take the day off. If she contacts you again, forward everything to me. We'll trace it. He left his card on the table and went down the stairs. The door shut, and the apartment was suddenly too quiet again. Shift to interior ambience, low hum of electronics. I opened my laptop, hoping to drown the paranoia in work, but the screen blinked once, twice, then froze. A folder appeared on the desktop I didn't recognize, /recovered/Angela/. I hadn't made it. Inside, one file, lookcloser.jpg, timestamp, 1:42 a.m. While I was awake, while I was in the apartment. The photo was my living room, taken from inside, from about waist height, like someone crouched behind the couch. In the reflection of the TV, faint but there, stood a shape. Tall, still, watching me. Heartbeat builds, then stops. I slammed the laptop shut so hard it rattled the table. Then, tap, 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 from above. Footsteps, slow, heavy, deliberate. I grabbed the baseball bat from beside the door and stared up at the ceiling, creaking floorboards overhead. The attic apartment belonged to an old man named Elliot, retired postal worker, paid rent in cash, spoke maybe 10 words a week. I climbed the stairs, each step screaming under my weight. "Elliot!" My voice cracked. "You up there?" No answer. The footsteps stopped. I tried the knob, locked. Then, movement, a shadow under the door, and a voice I didn't recognize. "You shouldn't have hired her." Not Elliot, deeper, rougher, but familiar in a way that made my stomach twist. "Who is this?" Silence. The knob turned slowly from the other side, then stopped halfway. I pushed the door open. Darkness. The air smelled of dust and lemon disinfectant. I flicked the switch. The bulb flickered once, twice, then steadied. The room was empty. No bed, no chair, no sign of anyone ever living there. Except a single cleaning bucket in the middle of the floor, half full of cloudy water. A lone yellow glove floated on top like a drowned thing. On the far wall, written in dripping streaks of gray water, "You left me here." Reverb tails out, low tone builds. I staggered back, nearly dropped the bat. When I looked again, the words were gone, just a wet stain on cracked plaster. Shift, quiet, hollow air. Back downstairs, I leaned against the wall, heart still hammering. I needed answers, real ones, not ghosts, not paranoia. That's when I noticed the small metal door behind the laundry machines. I'd lived here 6 years and never seen it before. No lock, just a rusted handle. I pulled. It creaked open. A breath of cold, damp air rolled out. Concrete stairs spiraled down into black. Flashlight click. I hesitated only a second before descending. The walls were brick, sweating with moisture. At the bottom, an old desk, a folding chair, and a reel-to-reel recorder covered in dust, except for the switch. It was clean, touched recently. I flipped it. The reels began to turn. My voice, test number 7. Subject shows confusion, memory gaps, procedure repeated tomorrow. Then another voice, soft female. "Please, I don't want to do this anymore." Angela. I ripped the cord from the wall. The reels spun down to silence. On the desk lay a photograph. Angela standing in my living room, smiling, holding a spray bottle. On the back, in my handwriting, "Erase the guilt." Music drop. Dark ambiance returns. I didn't remember writing that. I didn't remember any of it. But the ink was fresh. Fade-out sound of spinning reel tape, slowing to silence. Low hum. Cold air. Faint drip of water. footsteps echoing in the dark. I didn't sleep that night, not even a blink. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, Angela, frozen in that photograph, the same faint smile she wore before everything went wrong. But what went wrong? What had I done? Slow inhale. Beat of silence. By morning, the city outside was alive. Horns, footsteps, chatter. But my apartment felt cut off from it, sealed like a tomb. I made coffee, but when I lifted the mug, the surface rippled, like something had breathed on it. I told myself it was just a draft. Then I heard the hum again. Not the fridge, not the pipes. A low, electrical murmur from below. Faint static builds. I shouldn't have gone back down there, but curiosity, or guilt, whatever you call it, it pulled harder than fear. Flashlight click. Steps descend concrete. The basement looked the same. Desk, recorder, chair. But this time, the real machine wasn't off. It was playing. I hadn't touched it since last night. The tape hissed, and then my own voice filled the room again. Daniel, recording. Session 8. Subject is no longer responsive, proceeding with containment. Then a woman's scream, raw, tearing, and a crash. The sound of metal against concrete. Then silence. Tape slows, distorts. Angela, recording, faint. He said he'd make me forget. I tore the tape from the reels, but the sound kept playing. The recorder wasn't moving anymore. Yet my voice still echoed around the room. Low whisper builds, overlapping words. Forget, forget, forget. And then I saw it. Behind the desk, a door I'd missed before, half hidden by the pipes. A cold draft flowed through the crack. I pulled it open. A small storage chamber. Cinder block walls, fluorescent light flickering. And in the corner, a body bag, unzipped halfway. Heartbeat, rising. The skin was pale gray. The hair, short, dark, damp with old dust. And the name tag on the shirt, Angela. Silence drops. I stumbled back, hands shaking, mouth dry as chalk. That's when the phone rang upstairs. Transition, fast footsteps, echoing up. I sprinted to the kitchen, every step a thunderclap. Grabbed the phone. No caller ID. I answered anyway. Daniel. Who is this? Voice, female, faint, crackling. You said you'd help me forget, but I remember everything. Then a sound like static swallowing a scream, and the line went dead. Quiet. I didn't move for a full minute. Then I noticed something on the window glass. A handprint, small, wet. On the inside, and right beneath it, written with a fingertip, I remember you. Cut to ambient, subway rumble, distant siren. I called Detective Marquez again. He didn't answer, so I went to the precinct myself. They said there was a Detective Marquez, but he'd been dead 6 years, killed in an arson case downtown. The same week the old Angela Morales disappearance was filed, case never solved, lead suspect, Daniel Reed. Low note builds. My name. Cut back. Daniel's voice quieter, breath trembling. I drove home through the rain, trying to make sense of anything, but the closer I got to my building, the worse the static in my head became, like a swarm of bees inside my skull. When I reached my door, it was already open. Inside, the air smelled like bleach and rot, and the walls were clean. Every photo, every mark, every memory, wiped away. Except one new photo on the fridge. Angela again. Same smile, but standing right behind me. Slow, cold whisper. Turn around. I did. And for the first time, I saw her. She wasn't a ghost. She was me. Audio drops to heartbeat and single breath. She stepped closer. Same face, same eyes, same trembling hand. Angela, softly, You made me forget. So I came back to help you remember. Her fingers touched my face, ice cold, and everything went white. High-frequency tone. Static fades into silence. Faint hum. Monitor beeps. Slow exhale. I woke to white. White walls. White ceiling. White noise humming like a lullaby from broken speakers. The air smelled like antiseptic and old metal. A hospital? Number. Too quiet for that. Too empty. My wrists itched. Straps. I tried to move. Leather tightened around my arms. Something cold pulsed in the vein of my left hand. IV drip. Soft, distant footsteps echo down a corridor. I wasn't alone. Woman's voice. You're awake. I turned my head. A nurse stood in the doorway. Pale blue scrubs. No name tag. Her smile. Too still. Daniel. Where am I? Nurse. St. Vincent's psychiatric wing. You've been here 3 days. My throat burned when I spoke. Why? She looked at the clipboard. Nurse. You were found in your apartment. Blood everywhere. You were talking to yourself. Daniel. Where's Angela? Nurse. Who? Low, echoing hum builds. I stared at her. That empty, polite confusion. The kind you see on people when they're lying or when they really don't know. Daniel. The cleaning lady, she called me. She. Nurse, interrupting. There's no record of anyone else at your address. Then her eyes flicked up, sharp. Nurse. Do you remember the experiments? I froze. Daniel. What experiments? Nurse. With memory. You volunteered, but it went wrong. You asked us to erase the guilt. Whisper builds under dialogue. Erase, erase. Nurse. We did, but something stayed behind. Slight distortion enters her voice. Daniel. Something? Nurse, softly. Her. Short electric crack. Lights flicker. When they came back on, the nurse was gone. Just the door, swinging shut. And on the inside of my wrist, written in black marker, remember me. Transition. Echoing hallway ambience, slow footsteps. Days passed, or maybe hours. Time had no meaning here. They fed me pills, injections, white noise. But each night, the same dream, Angela standing in the corner of my room. Her eyes black pools, her voice soft as breath. Angela, you took my memories. Now yours are mine. When I woke, my restraints were undone, always undone. Shift, Daniel whispers. One night, I slipped out. The corridor stretched on forever, fluorescent lights buzzing like insects. Every door had a number, every number scratched out, except one. Room 13. I don't know why I opened it, but I did. Inside, the same desk from the basement, same reel-to-reel.
Same faint smell of lemon disinfectant.
Narrator, Daniel Angela's merged voice, calm, broken. They say New York never sleeps. Maybe that's why the dead never rest here either. Too many stories piled on top of each other, too many ghosts pretending to be people. Soft wind through cracked window. Distant thunder rolls. I used to think the city was alive. Now I know it just remembers. Every sound, every secret, every guilt that someone tried to clean away. The faint rhythmic swish of a mop on tile. My name used to be Daniel Reed. I had an apartment on Pine Street, a job I hated, and a conscience I couldn't silence. Beat, long pause. Now, I'm just one more echo in the walls, another voice in the static, another stain that refuses to fade. The humming gets closer, a woman's voice blending with Daniel's tone. If you ever wake up at night and hear footsteps in your home, don't call out, don't move, because sometimes it's not an intruder you're hearing. It's the memory of something you did, coming back to clean itself. Soft piano melody begins, slow, minor key. And when the reflection in your mirror looks calmer than you remember, when it smiles back after you've stopped, don't smile with it. Heartbeat fades in under piano, because that's where I am now. Watching, waiting, making sure the mess stays clean. Soft exhale, the hum stops. Silence for 3 seconds. Angela, faint whisper, all clean now. Low thunder roll. Fade out to silence.